They say the two things that cancer cells love is sugar and antioxidants, like ascorbic acid. Why? Because your immune system uses oxidation through the enzyme oxidase that's injected by neutrophils into cancer cells. So cancer cells protect themselves against this oxidation by loading themselves up with ascorbic acid, one of the more well-known antioxidants. So when you take an antioxidant, you're giving the enemy the very armor it needs to protect itself from your immune system.
You're selling arms to the enemy.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jack.
And Mary.
And this is the Forbidden Doctor Podcast, episode 116. Stopping this one supplement will avoid an early death.
Ooh.
Yeah. So how do you like them apples?
Yeah. Oh, there's the apples right there.
Yeah.
This is the cell scam number one.
These apples demonstrate how oxidative stress breaks down your cells, causing premature aging and disease.
We see this everywhere, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
But this,
this idea that somehow this is going on inside your body all the time. If this was going on inside your body, you and I would not be doing the show, and no one would be listening to it because we'd be dead.
Yes. It's ridiculous. That's like decomposing. I mean,
that's
hopefully
right.
That's not going on right now inside of us.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But this is how the synthetic vitamin industry gets your hard-earned money. Because this is what happens to an apple when it's dead, not inside of your living body.
Well, that's true. And it happens to you when you're dead and decomposing, not when you're alive.
Yeah.
I mean, this scare tactic picture is very indicative of the health food industry, who has yet to begin to read the current literature on one of the biggest scams in all of health claims today.
Yeah.
That somehow this supplement that we're going to be talking about, that we'll be discussing, prolongs life, reduces wrinkles, fights cancer, improves sex, and wins the war for the Allies in Europe.
Yeah, so up here we've got a healthy cell attacked by free radicals. So you can probably guess what supplement we're going to talk about. And then there's the unhealthy abnormal cell. Well, that is not what happens at all.
No, and by the end of this podcast, you're going to see how national marketing companies can take a terrible false concept and turn it into a multi-million-dollar business.
Billion-dollar business.
And they keep you from the forbidden information that we're going to reveal in our continuing effort as the Forbidden Doctor, that this supplement can, in fact, according to the recent literature, actually induce cancer and diabetes and stroke and heart disease and lead to an early death.
You're going to learn that taking this supplement is akin to committing slow suicide.
That's no joke.
And first, do no harm. Okay, we have to stop here for a commercial break. This podcast is brought to you from Ageless Thyroid. I came up with this saying here that I just love that says, enjoy the peace that comes from foundational healing rather than the useless frustration of managing symptoms. I developed this Ageless Thyroid product because I was taking all these products and all these different supplements to help melt my breast lumps and help my endocrine system and help depression and help all kinds of acne, everything, and mostly energy. And I developed this product to take the place of all those supplements.
Yep.
So this is mine. I love it, and it's brought to you by us because we have to finance these podcasts somehow. You get all this free knowledge for free. Super exciting. It's a wonderful product. And we've told you about a lot of people that have been helped from it. Here's one more. Here's a little testimonial. Just a little paragraph. Says, my major complaint was tenderness and migraines. I have been taking Ageless Thyroid for 6 months and...
6 weeks.
6 weeks, excuse me. That's even better. 6 weeks and no more headaches and no more tenderness with my periods.
Oh, great.
So thank you, Dakota, for giving us that one little sentence testimonial that really helps us, and we really appreciate it. And our free gift to you is to take our free symptom survey. Just simply go to forbiddendoctor.com and take the survey and find out how your health is.
Yeah, you're not joining some book club or you're not joining some travel thing that someone's going to be beating you down for getaway fares.
Yeah, there's no obligation.
There's no obligation.
Just find out how you're doing.
Yep.
Tell you all kinds of things with this symptom survey. And
you can listen to me if you don't get enough in the podcast, which I can certainly understand, on national radio every Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on the Doug Steffens Good Day Show. It's replayed on Saturdays at 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time at K-Talk, but you can just go to k-talk.com, or it's, I think, 1640, AM 1640. It says 630, but it's been changed. It just switched.
I didn't change the slide. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it needs to go to 1640.
But this is another way you can learn for free. It's to listen.
That's an hour-long interview on national radio with Doug Steffen.
Yeah, you're not the host. Doug guides it.
I try to be the host.
I know, but Doug's really a strong personality, but it doesn't matter. You get out some really good information.
Yes, good.
And Doug
Thank you.
Yeah. And another free gift is we send out coupons every single week for different things, chiropractic, supplements, free GAPS classes, all kinds of different things. So join our texting blast. Just text the word healthy to 41411, and you will get those texting blasts every week, and you can cancel out anytime you want. This webinar podcast is not intended to be a diversion away from the current system of disease management. It is our intention to offer a rational and very effective approach to aiding your body in its ability to rebuild and heal. Please be advised that any suggested nutritional advice or dietary advice is not intended as any primary treatment or therapy for any disease or particular bodily symptom. Nutritional counseling, supplements/vitamin recommendations, nutritional advice, and the adjunctive schedule of nutrition is provided solely to upgrade the quality of food in the patient's diet in order to supply good nutrition, supporting the physiological and biomechanical processes of the human body. Now, the next slide is going to give away what we're talking about. The slide that, I don't know what to say. It's the slide that promotes
Give it away. Go ahead.
Give it away. Okay, I'm going to
go ahead and give it away.
Here it is.
All right, antioxidant.
Whoa!
This is one of the big buzzwords.
Yeah.
And for probably 2-3 decades, maybe longer, has been appearing all over the marketplace, whether in the medical world or the alternative world. And it's almost as though the programming, the brainwashing is so heavy that you would not want to eat, drink anything unless you see the word antioxidant appearing on the package or carton or bottle somewhere.
Yeah. Advertising has put this word, this big, huge, gigantic word, on the same level of importance as oxygen itself.
Yeah, it makes oxygen the bad guy. Anti-oxidant.
Yeah.
Oxygen bad.
I didn't know oxygen was so bad.
Oh, it is.
And
according to the marketers.
Yeah.
And then somehow, unless we stop this cool subversive enemy of all life and healthy living, oxygen, you're all going to die a gruesome death somewhere between a shriveled up prune
or apple.
Or a completely failing system of human degradation. Oh, save me, oh mighty antioxidant, for Mother Nature has completely missed the point of your importance when she failed to give us antioxidant trees and bushes.
Yeah, well, that's quite the dramatics there, Jack.
Well, I was a thespian.
Oh, you were?
Yes,
yeah.
I was.
But this is incredible marketing that they've done. They completely leave science behind.
Yep.
And because they're always demanding the need to continually sell, needless and worthless chemical substances by scaring the public into believing in this nutritional, like hobgoblins and vitamin ghosts at every dietary turn. And antioxidants simply take the cake.
Oh, yes, there are. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Now, there's a lot of antioxidants we could talk about. Now, whole food vitamin C and whole food vitamin E are not antioxidants, but as the FDA portrays, vitamin C is ascorbic acid, which it isn't, and vitamin E is a tocopherol, which it isn't. Those are the antioxidant parts of the vitamin.
Of the vitamin, yes.
But we're going to concentrate on the mother of all antioxidants, and that is alpha lipoic acid. I mean, people actually think, and I get this feedback sometimes from patients, that an antioxidant is actually a nutrient.
Wow.
So one way to measure the importance of a substance in our bodies is whether or not our body tries to get rid of it quickly. Now, antioxidants leave the body according to the studies, and we're going to be talking about this.
We're going to bring
about
up this study.
26 minutes. I mean, nothing gets disposed of out of the body in full, exactly as it came in, as perfectly as an antioxidant. And one of the worst, but most popular, is ALA, or alpha lipoic acid. Now, don't confuse this with the other ALA, alpha linolenic acid, which is a very important fatty acid. And in fact, it's one of the two essential fatty acids, the other one being linoleic acid, so-called because they're essential in the sense that they're necessary for our health, but they are not produced within the body.
Yeah, you have to eat it in your diet.
Yes, exactly. And alpha linolenic acid usually comes from flaxseed and nuts and a few other sources.
And that would be our Linon B6.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful supplement for softening your skin.
And flaxseed oil is full of alpha linolenic, or ALA, but it has to be converted in the liver to EPA and DHA for your body to use it. Your body doesn't use alpha linolenic acid. It has to be converted into liver to something your body does use.
But it does convert it, and it doesn't take 26 minutes to go through.
It doesn't come out.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It's not going to show up in the urine like alpha lipoic acid
does.
Right,
you don't want it in your urine.
Yeah. So, but those two, the two EPA and DHA that alpha linolenic acid is converted to is already in a usable form in fish oils.
Yeah.
Eating fish is different. Flaxseed oil has to go through a conversion before you can use the oil. That same oil is already converted in the flesh of deep ocean fish.
Yeah.
So eating fish, you get it without that extra step. So, but we're going to be talking in this podcast, when we talk about ALA, we're going to be talking about alpha lipoic acid. And here's the thing that's so different than alpha linolenic acid. ALA, alpha lipoic acid, clears the serum. It clears out of your blood through the urine so fast that, according to a number of studies, 26 minutes is the transit time from swallowing an ALA supplement to finding it in your urine.
Yeah, it's like playing hot potato. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Here, take this. No, send it back down. So in 26 minutes, bam, it is gone.
So your body tries to get rid of anything that's foreign quickly. And an antioxidant can be classified as a xenobiotic. And the definition of a xenobiotic is something that the body perceives as foreign and it tries to get rid of it. And that comes from the same root as xenophobic, which means being afraid of something that's different, something that's foreign.
Yeah, don't they have like homophobic?
Xenophobic. There's a certain group of
that's different that we don't like. Get away
out
from
there
us.
Using the term xenophobic.
Yeah.
Blaming those who are homophobic as being xenophobic as well. They're afraid of homosexual people, but they're afraid of everything, and it's a categorizing, separating, pigeonhole typing kind of comment.
So the body thinks that of ALA.
And the body, because the body wants to get rid of it. And you have to understand that the body has the most exquisite mechanism to recycle minerals like iodine, and it recaptures it out of spent thyroxine. And the last place you ever want to see any mineral or any important nutrient is in the urine. So the quickest way to clear a xenobiotic is through the urine or the stool. And other ways, of course, are through respiration or sweat through the skin.
But understand that nothing is expelled out of the body in exactly the same form it came in, as fast as alpha lipoic acid.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't see it as a nutrient, and it doesn't digest it at all.
No.
It just wants to get rid of it, and it does it fast.
Yeah. Now, does oxygen come out of the body the way it went in? No. It comes out as carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
The oxygen doesn't come out as carbon dioxide. Well, that's another story. The hemoglobin and the switcheroo and all that stuff. But I'm just thinking that as an example.
So we're going to invent an incredible NASA.
A NASA-type device that will recapture the alpha lipoic acid in its pure form. Because remember, when it comes out in the urine completely intact, exactly the same way as when you swallowed it. So you can just keep taking it. Then every 26 minutes, you can pee into a cup. And then you take that again, and then pee in a cup, and then take it again.
There it is, right there.
Then pee in a cup, and then take.
This is a NASA type device right here.
Well, there you go.
See,
because
we have gravity, so we don't have to have it in a tube.
Well, that's true. Gravity here will pull it out faster. So you take an alpha lipoic acid supplement, wait a half an hour, pee it out, and there it is sitting in a cup, and then filter it out and take it again. This way you don't have to buy it. You just rent it.
Yes, because you have to understand, you are just renting the supplement. And you only get to rent it for about 26 minutes.
So until we invent that device, we can use a time-released alpha lipoic acid because the manufacturers of ALA are also aware of this problem. So they coat it with basically carnauba wax, which is, in car wax. And carnauba wax comes from a tree in Brazil. And it's the tree resin that takes the body a little time to break it down.
So right here, I've got car wax.
Waterless wash, wax, polish, and sealant. Does it have carnauba?
Yeah, it has carnauba wax in
there
it.
it goes.
So these manufacturers have figured out a way to coat the antioxidant with this wax so it takes it more time to go through your body. So you think it's working better.
Well, that's it, because it's not showing up in the urine yet.
They use this.
It won't show up for almost an hour and a half.
Marketing trick. Let's just say it's time released.
So it slows the body down by about 3 times the length that's required to get rid of antioxidants so that they can say time-released antioxidants.
That's amazing. Now, carnauba, in their defense, carnauba wax is not toxic, but it is certainly not a food.
Well, with all of this in mind, tell me why you'd want to take a supplement, why you would actually purchase a supplement that the body spares no energy getting rid of.
In other words, it uses all the energy it can find to get rid of this toxic substance.
So let's talk for a moment just about what ALA is. And it's mostly an animal-produced thing. It's in some of your cells. It's throughout the body. It has a very short life. It's involved with something that is with aerobic metabolism. In other words, the metabolism that goes on in the body that consumes oxygen, alpha lipoic acid has a very small role to play in that.
But it does occur naturally as part of food complexes.
Yes, it does.
What it does when it's part of a larger biological complex gives you no insight whatsoever as to what it will do by itself.
Well, that's what happens with alkaloids, because many of the drugs that exist today are alkaloids, and these alkaloids are extracted. When you pull the alkaloid out by itself, it's extremely toxic. And some of your most potent drugs in the market today are just synthetic versions made in the laboratory of an alkaloid that grows in the wild, which in the food or in the herb form from which they were extracted.
In the complex.
Is just fine. Yeah, because everything else is there with the alkaloid. But when you concentrate the alkaloid, like cocaine, like opium.
Here's cocaine.
Or digitalis.
Yeah.
All these drugs.
Here's opium poppy in a whole food complex.
Yes.
But
which serves an herbal purpose for the body. But when you take it and you concentrate it, with the alkaloid that's in there, it has a rather unnatural effect on the body.
So when you eat these foods containing these alkaloids, I mean, I'm not suggesting you eat opium, or opium poppies, you won't get that toxic effect from the food. Yeah. Okay?
And we've talked about cocaine. And you take the leaf of the cocoa tree and you make a tea out of it. It's anti-nausea. But you concentrate it into a powder, then you end up with cocaine.
Process it into a powder and concentrate it.
Yes.
It's this processing we do with these foods that is so Frankenstein, literally.
Well, it's just like sugar. Table sugar that comes from sugar cane. You chew on a sugar cane, you get the sweetness of the sugar that's in there, but you get the minerals and the enzymes and the coenzymes and the vitamins. But you concentrate that into a white powder. It has no nutritive value at all, but it has a tremendous drug-like effect in the head. So the fact that an antioxidant might exist in nature in small amounts in food has absolutely nothing to do with what that synthetic antioxidant can do inside the body.
That's really critical to understand.
Yes.
Because what it does as part of a larger complex gives you no insight whatsoever to what that that chemical will do all by itself.
All by itself in a concentrated
That's
form.
really critical. So you're downing all these antioxidant supplements, these pure antioxidants. We're going to tell you what happens.
We're going to show you the science behind it. We haven't referred to a whole lot of research yet, but you're going to get a bunch of it before this show's over. So the only reason the synthetic manufacturing supplement industry is interested in an antioxidant is because they can do this little test, and they test these substances in petri dishes with precise amounts of oil, and they watch how fast the oil goes rancid. For
oil
instance,
goes rancid pretty quickly.
It does when it's exposed to air.
Yes.
It will. So they'll take a tablespoon of a particular oil, like vegetable oil, and they want to know how long that oil, just sitting there in the presence of oxygen, will begin to degrade and form free fatty acids. And it's those free fatty acids that are the telltale sign of oil rancidity. So let's say they put the oil in the petri dish, they open it up to air, and they have their measuring devices, and it takes about 10 minutes for a particular oil, when exposed to the air, to oxygen in a controlled laboratory, to start to form free fatty acids. Now, I mean, as if what happened in a petri dish under laboratory conditions is what happens inside the cells of the human body. I mean,
this is utter nonsense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in other words, the fatty acids that have broken out of a complex that are now floating free, this is where the odor of rancidity comes from. And this is caused simply by fats being exposed to oxygen. So let's say you're doing this experiment and you have the vegetable oil and it's sitting there for 10 minutes, and then free fatty acids show up. Then they start testing different antioxidants like ALA, like alpha lipoic acid. And they put in so many milligrams, and then all of a sudden they measure how quickly the fats go rancid in the dish. Not the body, mind you, in a petri dish. And instead of 10 minutes, now it takes 14 minutes. So now they say, we're going to give a 40% rating to this particular antioxidant. Then they test another antioxidant, and it takes 13 minutes before it starts to go rancid, the oil. So they're going to give it a 30% rating. And then they try all these other antioxidants. And so in other words, all they do when they say, well, this is the most potent antioxidant ever tested, not in the human body, but in a dish sitting on a counter with vegetable oil in it. I mean, a 10th grader.
Not the complex, metabolic changes and cascade of everything that goes on in your body. No, this is in a petri dish.
Yeah, and a 10th grader could do this in high school. They're just testing how long the delay is with the antioxidant, how long it delays the appearance of a free radical that destroys the oil and makes it rancid.
So they're claiming all this that happens in a petri dish under laboratory conditions is what happens inside the cells, the actual cells of the human body.
Nonsense.
Yeah. Nowhere in the human body is any tissue exposed to the amount of oxygen in any one place as in the oil in this petri dish.
Yeah, I mean, oxygen is used, obviously throughout the entire body, but it's concentrated in just a few places. It's inside the neutrophils because they use oxygen to destroy the bacteria. And it's in other white blood cells. It's in the hemoglobin, of course, covering the red blood cells to transport oxygen. It's in the mitochondria in the individual cells to produce ATP. But these are very deep in the body. They're not sitting in an open petri dish on a countertop.
And they're in the body, they're in very controlled circumstances.
Yes.
Nothing goes wild in the body. You're not open to anything. This is very controlled and very figured out.
Yes. Yeah. And so what happens that fats in the body are emulsified by the bile, which has no real digestive qualities. The bile, because plus the lecithin that's with the bile, that's in the bile itself, works on increasingly smaller and smaller and smaller globules of fat until they're reduced, and then in the presence of lipase broken down to monoglycerides and then free fatty acids. That's different than a petri dish.
Yeah, this is very controlled.
Yeah, and then they're absorbed through the microvilli in the brush border, and then they're transported through the lymph to the thoracic duct and then to the blood supply via the inferior vena cava. Then the liver picks up these fats that are flowing around, again, in a very controlled environment, and these flowing fats in the system are picked up, repackaged, and sent elsewhere out to the body as LDL or wherever the liver wants to do with it. Not in a petri dish, sitting in a laboratory being tested by powders being dropped into vegetable oil.
We have been so scammed. I should have done scam 1, scam 2, scam 3, scam 4. Yeah, well, we stopped it too.
So,
okay.
let's, is that ice cream?
No.
Ice cream?
Nitrogen ice cream and liquid nitrogen ice.
Now, let's start by saying this. Nitrogen probably is the most powerful antioxidant on the planet.
Why don't we have nitrogen supplements?
Well, you can because when it's mixed with other chemicals, it can explode.
Oh, that little thing.
And it's a very stable thing. I mean, the Earth's atmosphere is about 72% nitrogen. Every breath you take in, it's almost 3/4 nitrogen and about 19% oxygen. Then there's a few other things in there. It depends on who's been eating what in your locale. That's supposed to be funny. So the only reason this whole atmosphere of this planet doesn't explode into a giant explosion as pure oxygen will do is because the nitrogen is present.
Keeps it in check.
Yeah, nitrogen prevents oxygen from combining into the oxidation process, so we can have
that
a
stops
stable
oxygen.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the best antioxidant.
That's an antioxidant, nitrogen right there.
It stops oxidation.
Well, let me give you an example like wheat germ oil. You be careful when you buy wheat germ because the wheat germ is easily rendered rancid because it's full of wheat germ oil.
Remember our Petri dish?
Because it's the oil that goes rancid, not the wheat germ. So if you want to buy a good quality wheat germ, then you should always get a wheat germ that is nitrogen packed, which means
sucks the oxygen out.
Well, they blow the oxygen out, they replace it with nitrogen, then the package is sealed. Now, because nitrogen prevents oxygen from combining with things. Nitrogen is the perfect antioxidant.
So it doesn't break it down like that apple.
No. So nothing is as good as nitrogen. But then, of course, it would also kill us if there was too much nitrogen in the atmosphere because the oxygen would be gone and we would suffocate.
Okay, that's not a good thing.
No. So all we're getting at and explaining here is that antioxidants have no, except for what this guy says, no nutritive value.
Now, I know this is kind of blurry, but it's the best picture I could find. It's probably blurry good.
Well, it's still very dishonest labeling in this product because antioxidants have no nutritional value.
Yeah. So it's blurred out so you can't read the manufacturer.
It does nothing to feed the body.
Yeah.
In fact, if you stick to the end of this, you're going to learn by the time this podcast is over how antioxidants actually kill you.
And look on the label here, suitable for vegans. I can't even read it. It's so bad. But
you know why?
I laughed and laughed and laughed when I found this picture. Antioxidant nutrients.
Suitable for vegans. Why do they say that? Because vegans read all the labels, and they know that most antioxidants, well, not most, but like ALA, alpha lipoic acid, comes from an animal source for the most part.
Ooh.
Now, some people concentrate it out of vegetables, but that's not easy to do.
Yeah, we'll show you some towards the end.
Now, what we have to talk about now a little bit.
Bam, the X.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy that.
No.
Thanks for the X.
Yeah.
Now, once we come to a realization that free radicals, and that's, oh my gosh, he said free radicals, run for your lives, or reactive oxygen species, sometimes you'll see it as an ROS, they're not the enemy of the body and are in no way a contributor to the diseases that all of these advertising outfits and marketing organizations want you to believe. And when that happens, you can just literally lose any reason for taking an antioxidant supplement. And the big reason is because your body makes one of the most powerful antioxidants on the planet, glutathione.
And it is used in very controlled circumstances.
And it's everywhere in the body.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's everywhere, and it can be used when it's necessary.
Yes.
Not when you take 42 antioxidants in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's only used when necessary in that chemical cascade we've talked about. But that's all the time. Your body never sleeps. These this regulatory control and chemical cascades, this orchestra that's going on in your body is going on all the time. So this is a very natural, you make it yourself.
And it's recyclable.
Oh.
In other words, your body makes it and then it recycles it. It's always there when you need it, and it does not show up in your urine.
So you don't need to rent.
So you remember our first slide. If you didn't have free radicals in your body, you would not survive. Your immune system uses free radicals to destroy bacteria, viruses, molds, parasites, toxins through the enzyme oxidase, which is comprised of free radicals. I mean, It's a lot more complicated than just an apple decomposing on your countertop.
So stay with us, you'll understand. And by the way, selenium, which is in our Asia's thyroid, is needed to enable your body to produce glutathione, which helps detoxify the body.
Yes.
Of course, selenium also helps the thyroid hormone production and converting T3 to or T4 to T3.
Yes.
So
now there's people out there that say, oh, like this lady here, when I take my antioxidant, I feel a rush, I feel a thrill, I feel a pizzazz.
I feel better.
Well, anyone who claims to be getting better or feeling better from taking an antioxidant supplement, one of two things are happening. One, it's the placebo effect, and we all know how powerful that is. But more dangerously,
the more important one is,
as with any antioxidant, when you get these into your body, it starves the cells from getting enough oxygen. An antioxidant stops the oxygen from doing its job.
Just like anti means anti-oxygen.
And so the brain, when it notices, whoa, where'd all the oxygen go? It starts causing these adaptations to take place in the body to release oxygen that's been stored in the smooth muscles. So it causes this survival. Yes.
Yeah, it's a survival instinct. We
Yes.
said that together. That's cool.
To release all these stores of oxygen in the blood and in the muscles, as if the whole body was experiencing angina. You know, when the heart goes into a cramp, it's like the whole body suddenly is not getting the oxygen to the cells.
It just panics. Your body just panics.
Well, because you're dying.
You're dying.
So in other words,
The body tries to save itself. It
Yeah.
tries to save your life.
because you keep putting these stupid antioxidants inside your body, and your body is going to go to a survival mechanism to try to get past that.
Yeah.
So when you take nitroglycerin, for example, for angina, that creates an effect in the brain that causes massive, sudden, smooth muscle dilation that releases the oxygen, and it brings the heart out of a cramp because the
And
heart
saves your life.
Well, yes, because the heart has gone into oxygen deprivation cramp, which is what we call angina or angina, depending on where you went to school. And you take nitroglycerin and you get an immediate effect because it causes the brain to release stored oxygen. Well, that happens when you take an antioxidant.
Can you?
Only to a much less dramatic degree, of course, than you would see with nitrogen or nitroglycerin.
Nitroglycerin,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a whole body kind of angina that happens. And you think you feel better because suddenly oxygen gets pushed into your tissues and you're like, oh man, I feel better.
I got this high. I feel.
But they've had to stop studies where they gave massive doses of antioxidants and people died.
Oh, yeah.
They died. Now,
literally
nobody can
died.
keep up that kind of regimen where you take, 100 antioxidants a day, but you would eventually die. Right off the bat, it makes you feel better. It's just like, concentrated cocaine. Right off the bat, it makes you feel better, I guess. I don't know. I've never tried it. But then apparently...
You look like you know that for a fact.
It sounds like it. I've seen documentaries.
Yes.
No, but then you die.
Yeah, because you're interfering with the body's normal oxygen metabolism when you start taking stuff that fools around with oxygen metabolism.
And that's critical.
Yeah, and
you
so
are messing with the normal oxygen metabolism.
That's key.
Yeah, that's very key because then the body will try to conserve, and then it will even release stores of oxygen. And that's why somebody may, feel this rush when they first take the antioxidants. It's only the brain's survival mechanism
To release the stored oxygen. And so they get a bit of a high.
So do you get that? Do you guys get that? That's why. That's why you feel better.
And even to this day, they don't know how nitroglycerin works in the body in the form of the little white pill under the tongue. But they know what happens when you take it.
Yeah.
And they know the brain just lights up when you take nitroglycerin. And
in the brain. So they've done studies where the brain's like nitroglycerin.
Yeah, well, you know who discovered it?
Well, it looks like this guy, this Alfred Nobel.
Yeah, Nobel. The one who's the father of the
course.
Nobel Prize.
Is it?
I think he got the first
Is
one.
it?
He gave it to himself.
Are you being funny?
No, this is where the Nobel Prize comes.
It's from
this
him.
guy ended up being one of the richest people on the face of the planet after he had developed nitroglycerin. And of course, that's how we get dynamite.
Yeah. Wait. He didn't develop nitroglycerin. He just developed...
He developed nitroglycerin. He discovered nitroglycerin. That's what's in dynamite, is small little areas inside that stick of dynamite of nitroglycerin.
But did he discover to use it under your tongue and save you from dying?
No, I think that they found that out later on.
Oh, okay. I thought,
some
this
guy
guy's
thought it was a
smart.
cigar, and he picked it up and he put it in his mouth, and suddenly his heart attack quit just before it blew up and he lost his head. But yeah, I think it was discovered accidentally, like a lot of stuff. But nitroglycerin is the basis of dynamite.
Bam! Gunpowder.
So now let's get serious about I can't get serious with that picture. I just can't get serious with that. We've talked about apoptosis before, which is the programmed death of a cell. Cells should live so long and then they die and then replaced by daughter cells who take over and do the job.
Stem cells.
Heart cells live about 30 days, liver cells about 3 to 4 months, blood is about 3 to 4 months, and liver cells about the same thing. The cells that line the walls of your intestines, every 3 to 5 days, they're completely replaced because stuff moving through cleans the cells off. So antioxidants, and this is what we want to talk about now in general, increases what's known as all-cause mortality.
That means all death.
All the reasons for which you would die.
Yeah.
You know, an asteroid hits your house and kills you, a car accident, falls off a ladder. These things are choked to death. All these things are known as all-cause mortality. And it's all the reasons we can die. In this large-scale studies that were done with 15,000 people, all-cause mortality goes up in the antioxidant study group. More cancer, more stroke, more heart disease, more diabetes. And one of the main reasons is that antioxidants inhibit the programmed death of a cell.
Apoptosis. So somebody runs over and grabs that chair and puts it back under him or her.
Yeah, when the cell's about to die, antioxidants putting that chair back up underneath.
Cuts the little thing that's just about to choke out his life.
This is okay. You can go on living. You can go on living. But it's not supposed to go on.
Yeah, so that's what an antioxidant does. It runs in, helps the little cell that should have died, almost died. It's on its last deathbed, and no, it doesn't die.
Yeah, we're going to get into how that happens. And what happens when the cell reaches the end of its normal existence, let's say 90 days. So you get to the 89th day, and now the process of apoptosis is going to take that cell down. Well, what they found at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, is that antioxidant supplements inhibit that process, inhibit apoptosis from taking place.
Which means the cell is not going to die on schedule.
No, it becomes senile.
Yeah, which means the cell becomes senile. It's growing weak and old, and then the senile cell can become
precancerous and then cancerous. And so by extending the cell life beyond its ability to be a productive cell, it becomes, well, like you said, they're senile and then cancerous, so that is why all-cause mortality goes up among the antioxidant group, because of the inhibition of normal cell death. It gets in the way of normal cells dying.
Well, this not healthy cell now, this old cell loses their productivity, and they are reduced because they can't do normal metabolism. They can't bring in nutrients and get rid of toxins. It's reduced to just barely living off of sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar consumption only. It's the only metabolic process it can do.
So, in other words, just the sophisticated metabolism that goes on inside of a healthy cell is where they need nutrients and amino acids and minerals and vitamins and enzymes and all the known and necessary things a cell uses in its productive life.
It's too old.
Yes, and all of a sudden these cells have become senile because apoptosis did not occur. They did not die.
And they become sugar junkies.
Yes, they cannot do the higher functions anymore.
Yeah. All they want is energy. And the only way they can get that energy is through glucose.
Yes.
Sugar.
It's the only thing they can process.
Yeah. And that's why the first thing anybody is told that's been diagnosed with cancer or even precancerous lesions, the first thing they need to do is to starve the body of all sugars. So maybe those cells will die on their own, but not if they're taking antioxidants, because that's how you starve a sugar cell.
Yeah, we learned that from the Johns Hopkins Cancer Research in their Cancer Research Archives. They publish this, and they say the two things that cancer cells love is sugar and antioxidants, like ascorbic acid. Why? Because your immune system uses oxidation through the enzyme oxidase that's injected by neutrophils into cancer cells. So cancer cells protect themselves against this oxidation by loading themselves up with ascorbic acid, one of the more well-known antioxidants. So when you take an antioxidant, you're giving the enemy the very armor it needs to protect itself from your immune system.
You're selling arms to the enemy.
Oh, that's very good. I like that.
You're sneaking them in the back door. In fact, you're probably sneaking that sugar. You're probably going in the other room and sneaking that sugar. And you can just think of it as giving them ammunition and giving them tanks and giving them...
Some people hide vodka in the toilet tank. Other people hide caramel rolls.
You got that look on your face.
No, not me. No, not me. And an ancient cell that has lived past its programmed death, you're going to have a degrading of the DNA inside that cell because it's not being fed what it needs to be fed. And then when you have the degrading of the DNA, you're going to the RNA that's not going to be able to do its job.
So it's degrading too.
So the organelles that are inside that cell that are controlled by the RNA messaging from the DNA, they start to foul up.
Yeah.
And so you have this indigenous and exogenous chemicals that are involved with certain cellular physiology and health. They're going to be stunted or altered or changed in some degree because of the degrading of the DNA. And that's what we call cellular respiration. Back in school, we had a whole class, a 3.5-month class on cellular respiration, which is how things get into the cells and how the things get out of the cells.
So absorb nutrition and excrete toxins.
Exactly.
Very complicated.
Exactly. And all that degrades when the DNA degrades. And the DNA is going to degrade once the cell that contains the DNA continues to exist past its programmed lifespan.
Apoptosis.
So when do we see Alzheimer's in brains of people beginning to show up? At 3 years old? No,
but earlier and earlier.
Towards the end of life.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main effects of antioxidants upon a cell's lifespan. I mean, it's a horror movie. The cell that would not die.
Yeah.
And it's not just that it doesn't die, it has all these extra problems. Then the cell, as you said, can't detox very well after that time. So if the cell is not using higher functions of the biochemical nutrients, not using amino acids, not using vitamins, coenzymes, enzymes, minerals, etc., then it interrupts the two main jobs of that cell and all living organisms for that matter, which is, as you always say all the time.
What do I always say?
To absorb nutrients and excrete and eliminate the waste.
Yeah, it's the chemical cascade. It's this, well, I like using the word regulatory control, that the cells just lose when they get old and hobbling around on little crutches and can't think and hear and everything else. They just can't do everything.
So if you're not absorbing nutrients and you're not eliminating waste, you're literally drowning in the uneliminated waste and running the cell's mechanisms on sugar instead of the higher nutrients. That's why these cells become cancerous, because the preferred way to get rid of the old cells, hey, you lived a good life, today you die.
It's time to go.
It's been inhibited by the antioxidant, and it stays alive.
Antioxidant inhibits apoptosis.
Yeah.
Remember that. See the picture?
So when apoptosis function occurs, two things happen. The first thing is that the targeted cell, when it's time to die, and the cell begins to be targeted for destruction, and there's hormonal and chemical messaging signals that cause this to happen. And it could be a bacteria, it could be a yeast cell, it could be anything. It's then infiltrated by ionizable calcium.
This is why we're always telling you to take your calcium.
Yes, so the normal cell processes can take place because apoptosis is what is known as an ionizing calcium-dependent process. Ionizable calcium must be present in the serum that bathes the cells, so that when the cell whatever it is,
the old cell is ready,
the heart cell, liver cell, kidney cells ready to die, it's infiltrated with calcium that signals the nearby cleaning crew, and they show up, and it attracts the presence of these oxygen-rich neutrophils, which are using oxygen, part of the body's phagocytic immune killers. And what is the weapon of destruction that these neutrophils bring to the targeted cell?
I know. Oxygen.
Oh, how did you guess?
Yeah.
The neutrophils release an enzyme called oxidase, which is full of free radicals, crazy oxygen reactive species that are just ready to tear apart whatever it hits. And that's what the marketing arm out there of health says. Oh, these things are just everywhere, ready to tear your heart to pieces and tear your liver to pieces and tear your kidneys to pieces.
It's crazy.
These things are contained, for the most part. Now, there's our environmental factors that cause reactive oxygen species, these things that take place inside the body, but that's why you have glutathione. And there's other kinds of natural antioxidants in the body that show up when they're needed, and they're gone when they're not needed. And what is the weapon of destruction that they bring to these targeted cells? As you said, oxygen.
Oxygen, and it literally cooks the cell in oxygen as a mean of burning it to death.
Yeah. You ever do welding or a torch, a cutting torch? You have a acetylene.
All the time.
Yes. Don't you have one next to the bed?
Yeah.
It has two little valves on it, one for acetylene, the other one for oxygen. And when you're ready to light that torch, you got a little striker, you got this flame coming out of it. And depending on how you adjust the oxygen and adjust the acetylene, you can get a very, very hot cutting point.
Pointed.
And you turn up the oxygen.
That's what these little neutrophils do.
You turn up the oxygen, and the flame gets hotter and more powerful, and you can cut through steel. That's what's happening on a very, very small scale. When a neutrophil bites into these cells, a cancer cell, a bacteria, a virus, whatever else, and they use that oxidative process to destroy that cell. As you said, it cooks the cell in oxygen, burning it to death.
Oof.
Well put.
I missed my burning. Did you see my burning just went by on the screen?
Yes.
It was really cool.
So what do you get when you burn something? Well, like when you throw a piece of wood on a campfire, you get ashes. And if you saw ashes in a campfire, you'd think, well, what could be more normal than that? The wood has been converted through oxidation into ashes. And that's just the carbon residue of the wood that just was burned in a campfire. Well, the reactive oxygen species, ROS, which are the free radicals.
These are the free radicals. They're found around those dead cells in the body, like the ashes here, the ones that died on time with apoptosis because they've just been killed by oxygen molecules.
Yeah. Now the body jealously restrains those reactive oxygen. Retrains.
Retrains those oxygen. This is how important oxygen is to the body. It retrains those free radicals because one thing the body's designed to conserve is oxygen. Okay? If the body's designed to conserve anything, it's oxygen. And one way you can tell or measure the importance of oxygen in the human body is how long can you live without it?
Just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because water's a nutrient.
Yeah,
I mean, you can go several days without water before you would die.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can only go minutes without oxygen and then you'll die. So why in the world would you put an antioxidant anything in your body?
Jeez.
Let's have some fun with this one. So the body reclaims and it recycles and it refuses to lose oxygen. And those reactive oxygen species, the free radicals, the ash of the dead cells are what go into the neutrophils and they're reclaimed. And one of the reasons that they're reclaimed is that they're part of the way the immune system kills its targets. Whether the target is a cell at the end of its life and needs to die through apoptosis, or a virus that needs to be incinerated, or a pathogenic bacteria, or a parasite that needs to be cut up and incinerated, and the body uses incineration, and the weapon of incineration is oxygen.
Bam!
I mean, watch the old cells and the viruses and the bacteria die. So did you get that? I mean, that's kind of a... I know that took you about 2 days to put that together,
It was
Mary,
cool. I love it.
But did you get that? You need free radicals in many respects to incinerate the old dying cells and the viruses and the overgrowth of pathogens and the toxins.
Yeah, and bacteria. It's a very dangerous thing to interrupt the balance of normal cellular metabolism. We're going to show you some research that indicates where the use of antioxidants all-cause mortality.
Yep, it increases all-cause mortality.
Increases, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, watch this. Look, the oxygen is getting rid of...
getting rid of all the bad guys.
Yeah, the pathogens, the viruses. Oxygen is the answer, not antioxidants, because here is the...
the ultimate antioxidant that's powerful enough to inhibit that. I mean, you're committing suicide.
Yeah. So that's why we like to say we've come up with the best antioxidant there is. Duct tape.
There you go.
Duct tape around your mouth and your nose.
Field tested by the mafia for over 75 years. I mean, can 23,000 mafia members be wrong?
Well, but see, this isn't a true duct tape antioxidant because it's not covering his nose.
Well, they're giving him one last chance.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find a picture that covered his nose because I guess that's probably illegal.
Where's the money, buddy?
That's like death.
Yes.
Yeah. How long would you live?
Well, you wouldn't be in that situation except for antioxidants.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not just the antioxidants and supplements you pee out. You're going to pee out the antioxidants you get from eating blueberries.
There's antioxidants
and you
there.
Pee out the antioxidants that you get from kale. You know, if you don't eat the peel of a banana, but I'll tell you, the peel of a banana is the antioxidant for the banana. But we don't eat the peel. We don't eat the rind. If you did, in 27 minutes, you'd be peeing out that antioxidant.
Oh, we don't need the rind?
No,
we don't need
because
the
you
peel?
can't digest or utilize that peel.
Hey, speaking of that, our cat just went outside today, who is a true carnivore, and came back in and started coughing and coughing. And I don't know, it's not really a cough.
She puked.
She threw up, and she threw up
Grass.
She cannot break down grass.
Well, she's looking for something. When usually they're ill or they're sick or something's going on for a carnivore
minerals.
to eat grass, and that's what she was looking for.
Probably the horrible rats we have and the moles and the mice don't have enough minerals in them.
Do you know why the rind of an orange is so thick?
Oh, you just went right on.
Yeah.
You didn't even listen.
It's because an orange has so much sugar in it. It has to be, because the higher the sugar content of something, the more that plant tries to protect it, because more insects would just ravage it. But the point is...
Well, before you move on here, that's why it's so thick. And the orange, the rind of the orange is keeping oxygen away from the meat inside of the orange.
Yeah.
We don't need the antioxidant. We don't eat that rind around an orange. That's not for us. It's to keep the meat inside, the fresh, juicy orange inside, fresh.
It's there to protect the food. It's not there for you.
It's not there for us. We are not supposed to be eating that. So did you know you can't even throw citrus rind into a compost pile?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. It takes 4 to 5 years to break down. They don't have a little system where you can pee it out.
So you don't throw grapefruit or orange or lemon or anything citrusy in a compost pile.
Yeah, they take years to break down. So
almost everything else will break down within that year you put it in there.
6 to 9 months is about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an example of how indigestible the rind of citrus is, how indigestible antioxidants are.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, but in a compost pile, nothing comes in there and just pees out or gets out all the grapefruit peels and the orange peels and the banana peels. So our bodies are smarter than the compost pile. I'm so glad. And it just pees it right out.
Well, no one eats the peel of a banana. I mean, we've always known they're indigestible. Or eat the shell of a peanut. I mean, the same thing. Peanuts are very, very high in fats and oils, so it has a wonderful shell to protect it. That is its antioxidant protection to protect it from insects and oxygen.
Until we eat it.
Yeah. But the point is here, we don't eat the protector. We don't care about the security guard. We don't want the safe. We want the money that's inside the safe, and that's the gold. The meat of the orange, those orange slices, is the gold. So in other words, in this analogy here, the bank vault is the antioxidant. You don't need the bank vault.
Yeah.
You want what's inside the vault, the food itself. So the rind of the orange is the vault, the antioxidant, and the sweet orange fruit inside of the rind is the money in the vault. So the bottom line is this, as we said there in that last slide. The antioxidant in food is not there for you. It's there to protect the food, whether plant or fruit, from oxidation.
Can't be simpler than that.
Yep.
So ALA, alpha-lipoic acid, that we started talking about, is a worthless, stupid supplement, as are all antioxidant supplements.
Unless you do something ridiculous and fraudulent, like wrapping it up in carnauba wax so it's time released, and then it goes through the body in
75 minutes instead of 26 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, about a half an hour. So anyone who's trying to defend antioxidants is so far out on a limb. They have the most discrediting science in the world behind them. Anyone that takes antioxidants on a regular basis is basically committing suicide on the installment plan.
Yeah, there's the old story of the medical doctor that was smoking cigarettes. And he was asked, those things are slow death. And he says, Well, that's the way I want to go, slowly. So slow death, that's what antioxidants do. So let's
on
have
the
some
installment plan.
So let's show them what we found.
Okay, so here's, I found this article and it was the Supplement Hound, top 10 antioxidant supplements. I even put the link there.
And I love the way they show fresh berries in the picture.
Yeah, well, see, that would be fine to eat and some of these supplements, but this is incredible. So here's the number one, in their eyes, their judgment, is the number one antioxidant. It's the most popular manufacturer of sports and dietary supplements in the world, and it's the most prized one. It's the winner of the 2017 Super Antioxidants supplement.
Who are we to say what we're saying?
This is super. Now, here's number two. This one provides 200 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid per capsule. You're going to pay money to have that go through your body in 26 minutes. Here's number three. You can jump in here on any of these.
Well, here's 300 milligrams.
Yeah, this is even super duper mega super blaster antioxidants. And I love this. Protects the body's cells against oxidative damage caused by free radicals.
Yeah, that's
I mean, how often do you hear that?
Every time you turn around to the point where unless you study this stuff, you're going to believe it and pay for it.
Yeah, you are. You're going to
rent it.
You're going to rent it for a time.
Because it's not going to hang around long.
Here's one that's kind of okay. This is a vibrant green. This looks like it uses mostly whole foods, so I don't have a big problem with that one. It doesn't say it has ALA in it, but it may. And then here's number 5. This one has 200...
Magnum. Magnum Force.
Yeah, it says it includes essential fatty acids from 7 natural sources, but it provides an unprecedented number of fruits and vegetable extracts. So they're getting their
enzymes, probiotics, a bunch of other stuff that's in there. It doesn't say ALA. It's using different kinds of berries as a source of antioxidants. But remember, the antioxidants in the wild berry flavor is there for the wild berry. It's not there for you.
Yeah. Okay, here's the next one. Now, alpha lipoic acid 250. It has 250 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid, and it's suitable for vegetarians and vegans. So,
well, most ALA, most alpha lipoic acid is animal sourced, but there are a few. I think spinach, broccoli. There's a couple of other things in there that have some ALA. So maybe that's where they got it from. They concentrated it out of that again in an unnatural strength for the human body, just so you can pee it out.
Yeah. So here is another one. I'm just going to kind of go through these. There's number 7. Oh, here's our favorite one. We decided we should make our label look like this.
See, that looks like a part that fell to the earth off of the space station.
We got to change ours. Ours is so boring. It's just red but anyway, this is really cool.
Why did you buy that one, Bob? Because it's shiny.
This provides a pure mitochondrial form of alpha lipoic
The problem is
acid.
It won't get to the mitochondria. It's going to get in the urine and out of the body before it can get to the mitochondria.
Yeah, it's such a marketing scam. Okay, and here is the Natrol alpha lipoic acid. I don't know why this is. It has up to 600 milligrams of ALA in it. Whew. Protects your body cells against oxidative damage caused by free radicals.
You can get some real expensive urine with that one.
Yeah, I don't know what these cost.
And then, right out of the Garden of Eden.
This is number 10.
Garden of Life.
Yeah, I don't know that this one's so bad. This one looks like it comes from greens.
It's a wide variety of
and it's
green.
got probiotics in it.
Yeah. So some of these actually have food in them, but it doesn't say ALA. It's not promoting things like this, but it's talking about how the anti-supplements that are oxidants, that are in some of these foods somehow are of a benefit to you. Now, you have an antioxidant, glutathione. It's in all the cells. It's wherever your body needs to create
When and where
it needs it. You start throwing concentrated stuff in there, the body just goes, oh boy, well, maybe next time. It's over.
Well, we do know that it raises all-cause mortality. Conclusion of this article, and there's a link for it.
In case you think we're just expressing our opinions, which of course we're doing, we wanted to show you the science we've been reading behind this.
Yeah, we thought we'd throw in a bunch of studies here.
High dosage vitamin E supplementation may increase all-cause mortality. And as you go through here and you read it, you find out they're using synthetic vitamin E.
And they say it should be avoided. These are not articles or tests on food. This is on the synthetic ALA or some other form of antioxidant. Right. Here's another one. This is research. You can't get this one in anymore online, so I've added it for a handout. This is a PDF. You can get it at the end of our show. But this study shows antioxidants may promote the spread of cancer. And inside of it, it says administration of antioxidants to the mice allowed more of the metastasizing melanoma cells to survive, increasing metastatic disease burden. Also, some of those trials had to be stopped because the patients getting the antioxidants were dying faster. This is so scary.
Our data suggests the reason for this cancer cells benefit more from antioxidants than the normal cells do.
Ooh, let's just say that again. Cancer cells benefit more from antioxidants than normal cells do. And so here is the latest study about antioxidants is terrifying. Scientists think they may boost cancer cells to spread faster.
So what happened here is researcher Sean Morrison and his colleagues conducted these experiments on mice that had been transplanted with skin cells, melanoma, from a human being. So they gave nothing to one group, and to the other group they gave doses of acetylcysteine, which is a common antioxidant that's used in nutritional and bodybuilding supplements and has been used as a treatment for patients with HIV, AIDS, and in some children with certain genetic disorders. But the results were alarming. Those in that second group that got the acetylcysteine had markedly higher levels of cancer cells in their body, grew more tumors, and the tumors were larger and more widespread than the other group.
Yeah.
Now, this may be one reason why people who stop or avoid chemo and opt for an alternative approach using antioxidants for dealing with their cancer end up dying even faster than if they'd stayed on chemo.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not promoting chemo by saying this. I just think people who do opt out for alternative healing should be very careful of what they're doing and the methodologies that they choose, because when someone goes ahead and they stop their chemo and they start eating pineapple or something, and all of a sudden they die anyway, and everybody says, well, the alternative system just didn't work for this person.
Well, I always heard take mega doses of vitamin C if you get cancer, Well, that's very scary.
Well, when antioxidants like ascorbic acid, vitamin C are given, this paper hypothesizes, says it may give new life to the cancerous cells that are on the edge of dying.
Ah, the apoptosis we've been talking about. They were just about to get hung.
Yep.
And somebody ran in and put that chair back. And a similar study conducted at Vanderbilt University and published in 2012 involved mice with prostate cancer. They also showed that antioxidants appeared to increase the proliferation of cells in the precancerous lesions. And another one in rodents with lung cancer, published in Science Translational Medicine in 2014, found that normal doses of vitamin E and smaller doses of acetylcysteine, an antioxidant supplement, appeared to lead to a 3-fold increase in the number of tumors and caused them to be more aggressive.
Do you understand, going through this, why medicine is down on vitamins?
Oh, yeah. Every study they do is with synthetic vitamins.
Because they don't use whole food vitamins.
Right.
They use synthetics, and synthetics cause an increase in all-cause mortality.
Yeah, but they always say at the end of these studies, too, we did not find the same results when we used whole foods.
Yes.
Yeah, they always, that little teeny small print at the end of these studies. And then he added at the end of this article, personally, from the results I've seen, I would avoid supplementing my diet with large amounts of antioxidants if I had cancer. And this PDF is also at the end of our podcast.
Yes, All right, then here's one from the Lancet out of England.
Yeah, this is, we could not find evidence that antioxidant supplements can prevent gastrointestinal cancers. On the contrary, they seem to increase, again, overall mortality.
And this came out in 2004.
A long
13 years ago.
This should be front page news.
Yep.
But nope, what are we all doing? We're still taking our antioxidants. Okay, and here are 2 great articles that will be at the end of the podcast. These were written from a colleague of ours, Dr. Christopher Taylor, and this is talking about vitamin C, and he says, are you really taking vitamin C complex?
When you think you're taking vitamin C.
Yeah, not the ascorbic acid aspect, which does not stop scurvy and does not work at all in the way they think it works.
Yes.
So if you take the whole food vitamin C, you do not have the deleterious effects nor the raising and the all-cause mortality.
Right.
Okay, and here's another article, The Real Truth About Antioxidants. These will be at the end of the podcast. And there's also a beautiful little quote at the top of every one from the pen of Dr. Royal Lee, for which we named our long life energy enzymes after.
And
in case you don't have enough references, we thought we would give you the antioxidant summary of recent studies, and we're not going to go through these.
But look at the American College of Cardiology, American Heart Association, atherosclerosis treatment studies, the Women's Angiographic Vitamin and Estrogen Study, alpha-tocopherol beta-carotene cancer prevention, and it goes on. I mean, these are substantial research organizations, and they all come up with the same conclusion.
Antioxidants block cell repair.
Yes.
That is this article. And there's the link there on the bottom. I don't know if we have anything to say about this. The bad news, let's see. Remove cell components. Let's see, including ROS damaged proteins and organelles.
Well,
they down-regulate this.
Yeah, in 47 trials with 180,938 participants, I'm quoting, the antioxidant supplements significantly increased mortality. In other words, it killed more people. Beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin E, singly or combined, significantly increased mortality.
More people died.
Yep.
Yeah. And then down below that, honey, it says antioxidants down-regulated
autophagy. The ability to destroy
the free radicals.
Apoptosis. It's what happens after apoptosis. And the autophagy is to be able to eat itself. So the engulfing and digesting and of the phagocytes against cells that should be digested, it doesn't take place.
Yeah, the producing waste and recycling nutrients and absorbing nutrients and getting rid of, waste.
Yeah, and the idea, why should you eat yourself? Well, it's essential to life and health that a process inside your body eats up the debris and the aged cells that are going to go amok.
Yeah, we're always sloughing off dead and dying cells.
And when they don't get destroyed, they turn into cancer or something else.
Yeah, something. In short, it says at the bottom here, slowing damage interferes with repairing damage.
Yes. And if you don't have constant turnover of healthy sick cells with new healthy cells, you are on a one-way street.
You're dying on the installment plan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a big, long article, so that's all I'm going to read from that. Here's another one called Antioxidants Suppress Apoptosis. So everything we've been saying, it is validated in this article. And then here's another article that I really liked. Antioxidants could rescue starving tumors to be.
Yes, in case you have a tumor that's about to die and be sloughed off,
yeah, you don't want that to happen.
If you take some antioxidants, it could rescue that tumor.
Detached early cancer cells may die from lack of nourishment.
My goodness.
This process, known as apoptosis, typically stops potential cancer cells before they have a chance to proliferate. So when you take your antioxidants, you stop that from happening. You stop your tumor from dying. Let's see.
That's good.
Well, that's good enough. Okay. So
they can read that article themselves.
Here we go. It raises the interesting idea that antioxidants, which are typically thought to be protective because they prevent genomic damage, might be allowing these potentially dangerous cells to survive. That's the take home from that article.
Yeah, one of the theories is that antioxidants protect genes. But what she's saying, and there's no concrete evidence of that, and what she's saying here is that, well, while we think we're protecting genes, we might be keeping dangerous cells alive.
Yeah, because you have enough of the glutathione to protect your genes.
And why does it keep them alive? Because your body uses oxygen to destroy them.
Has to.
And here comes the antioxidant shell. It's
Incinerate
like Captain America's shield, and it protects these dying cells from cleanup by the body, which it's supposed to do, and then they get worse and they get worse and they get worse.
Well, it's always the same example I talk about with tumors and how they have receptors for sugar. Well, they eat sugar to live.
Yeah, that's all they can. That's all they can process.
But those same receptors will also suck in ascorbic acid. But the diabolical thing about that is it seals the tumor off from your own immune system, and so you can have a massive tumor growing out your neck somewhere, and then you get a cut on your finger, and your immune system just goes crazy and runs down there and puffs it up or pusses it up, and the macrophages come in and clean everything up and get rid of it and heals it, and you're just fine. Oh, but it forgot about that tumor that's going to kill you.
Yes.
So raises all-cause mortality. So to recap, this is an actual ad to doctors. Are your patients getting the benefits of alpha lipoic acid?
Many experts consider alpha lipoic acid to be a wonder nutrient.
Nutrient. You love that nutrient.
ALA is effective as an antioxidant because it combats free radicals that cause oxidation and cell damage.
And then it says the one drawback, and it says this right on the screen. I don't know if you can read it. The one drawback when taken in oral form has been how quickly it is cleared out of the system.
So it doesn't even get a chance to digest. It comes out the same way it went in.
Aww.
So here we're renting a supplement.
I'm sorry, I went back and forth on the slides there.
That's all right. Rent a supplement.
ALA doesn't even digest. So you can just rent a supplement. I thought that was funny that it's marketed to doctors and that they're given such bad information on nutrition. And they're calling ALA nutrition. And it is not a nutrient. Okay, so this is where we started. These apples demonstrate how oxygen, that this is not what happens in your body.
No, but it's a good marketing tool because you see something like this and then you think, oh my gosh, is that happening in my brain cells?
We don't want oxygen doing that.
Oh, I better take an antioxidant.
Yeah, oxygen is so important in incinerating apoptotic. There's two P's in there.
Yes.
Apoptotic cells. So you need free radicals in many respects to incinerate the old dying cells or viruses or overgrowth of pathogens or toxins. It's a very dangerous thing to interrupt the balance of normal cell metabolism.
Yeah, because as the research indicates, this is where those who use antioxidants experience an increase in all-cause mortality. And again, we're talking car accidents, falls off of the ladder, strokes, heart disease, cancer, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. How can an antioxidant cause those things? Because it causes the degradation of cells in your body that should have died. And so you aren't coming in on both engines.
Yeah, maybe your brain isn't working right.
Yeah.
And so it could cause a car accident.
And so these studies show that antioxidants can induce cancer, diabetes, stroke, heart disease, lead to an early death. And as we said earlier, taking them is akin to committing slow suicide. But what about the really bad reactive oxygen species, the really bad free radicals? Your body has a way to handle those. It doesn't need this crazy rent-a-supplement system. It has glutathione to take care of it. So if you're looking for an antioxidant, why don't you get a really cheap one?
Duct tape over the mouth and the nose.
Yes.
No oxygen will get into your body.
Yep. So in conclusion,
we would like to give you our free gift to take our free symptom survey, and you simply go to forbiddendoctor.com and fill out the simple survey, and we will send you back all the results of that survey. Okay?
So the statements made in this webinar about specific products have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, although many scientific research facilities out there underscore what we said, and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. All information provided or any information contained on or in any product label or packaging or this webinar is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professional.
So if you like what we're doing in these podcasts and you want to keep us going, there's several ways to support us. You can leave us a positive review on iTunes. You can ask questions and give feedback at the end of this podcast, and you can join our family by simply filling out the symptom survey. So
And
again,
remember, you can always call, text, or email with questions.
yeah, leave us comments or questions at the end of this podcast. We love those. We'll get back to you. We will help you. Text, call, email, or come in to see us. And we can start a health revolution and rip a hole in the health care universe.
That's our aim. That's our focus. That's our dynamic, to rip a hole in the universe.
And we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Doctor podcast. If you are curious about long life energy enzymes or ageless thyroid, you can purchase them without a membership from our website at forbiddendoctor.com. Or get our enzyme formula from Amazon.com by searching the full term, Long Life Energy Enzymes. Don't forget to take our obligation-free symptom survey to get a free personalized supplement protocol recommended for you by Dr. Jack, Mary, or one of our qualified nutritionists. Take the survey, get a call from our nutritionist to create a protocol and a patient login, then use that login to see your own personal protocol along with any favorites you've saved from our symptom library. Remember, our website and our clinic are here for you always.